Rejection hurts for one reason most men never understand. Not because she said no, not because she chose someone else, but because rejection attacks your identity. The moment she rejects you, your mind starts racing. You replay conversations, you analyze what you said, you question your value, and without realizing it, you fall into the most dangerous mental trap a man can enter. You try to prove her wrong, you try to show her what she missed, you try to stay visible, you try to remain relevant in her life, and every move you make after rejection pushes her further away. This is where most men destroy any chance of being remembered, because rejection does not erase attraction. Your reaction to rejection does. High-value men understand something that changes everything. The goal after rejection is not to win her back. The goal is to become unforgettable. And those are two very different paths. A man who chases after rejection becomes predictable. A man who explains himself becomes forgettable. A man who tries to stay emotionally close becomes safe. And safety without desire leads to indifference. But a man who reacts with control, silence, and self-respect triggers something far more powerful: space. And space is where attraction either dies forever or quietly begins again. This is the part no one teaches you. A woman does not think about the man who begs for another chance. She does not miss the man who keeps reminding her he exists. She does not fantasize about the man who stays emotionally available after being dismissed. She thinks about the man who changed direction, the man who did not collapse, the man who did not plead, the man who did not need validation to stay grounded. That man creates a psychological gap. And the human mind hates gaps. It tries to fill them. It revisits them. It replays them. That's where curiosity is born. This video is not about revenge. It's not about manipulation. And it's not about pretending you don't care. It's about transforming rejection into leverage. Because when you respond the right way, rejection stops being an ending. It becomes a turning point. A moment where a woman subconsciously reassesses who you are and what you represent. Most men respond emotionally. High-value men respond strategically. They don't try to be chosen. They become the man who can walk away cleanly. And that single shift changes how they are remembered. If you've been rejected and felt the urge to prove yourself, to explain, to stay connected, or to show her what she lost, this video will stop you from making the mistake that guarantees she never thinks about you again. And if you stay until the end, you'll understand why rejection handled correctly often creates more attraction than acceptance ever did. Before we start, a quick reminder. The real transformation doesn't happen on YouTube. It happens inside the community. If these videos have opened your eyes, what's inside will rebuild your mindset completely. It's not just a course. It's a brotherhood, a private space where men master attraction, emotional control, and the psychology of power. You don't join for a month, you join for life. Every future course, book, and lesson is yours forever. No subscriptions, no limits, just one decision that changes your direction. If you're serious about growth, discipline, and purpose, click the link below. Join the community. Enroll once, grow forever. Let's dive in. Section 1. Why your reaction to rejection matters more than the rejection itself. Most men believe rejection is a final judgment on their value. They hear no and assume attraction is gone forever. But in reality, rejection is rarely about you as a person. It is about timing, emotional position, perception, and the energy you project in that moment. High-value men understand this early. They know that what defines them is not whether they are accepted or rejected, but how they respond when rejection happens. Because the response is what a woman remembers. The reaction is what reshapes her internal narrative about you. When a man reacts emotionally, everything collapses. He explains himself. He asks for reasons. He tries to correct misunderstandings. He offers reassurance. And in doing so, he turns rejection into confirmation. He confirms that he needed her approval to feel stable. That is what kills attraction. A calm response does the opposite. It creates contrast. It introduces uncertainty. It signals emotional control. And emotional control is one of the strongest traits a woman associates with strength and confidence. This is why high-value men do not argue with rejection. They do not fight it. They do not personalize it. They accept it without drama. And that acceptance is what disrupts expectation. Most women expect disappointment. They expect persuasion. They expect negotiation. When none of that appears, something shifts. The interaction ends differently than anticipated. And the mind replays what it cannot categorize. High-value men use this to their advantage without forcing anything. They respond with respect, brevity, and emotional distance. Not coldness, not arrogance, but clarity. They communicate that rejection does not destabilize them, and that single signal places them in a different mental category. This is where attraction has space to survive. Because attraction does not live in pressure. It lives in freedom. And when you allow someone the freedom to reject you without consequence or emotional cost, you show something rare: self-sufficiency. This is why the first step after rejection is not action. It is restraint. It is the discipline to stop yourself from reacting emotionally, to stop chasing closure, to stop seeking reassurance. High-value men understand that silence after rejection is not absence. It is presence under control. And presence under control is magnetic. When a man does not try to rewrite the moment remains unfinished. And unfinished moments stay alive in memory. That is why your reaction to rejection matters more than the rejection itself. Section 2. Why chasing after rejection erases attraction completely. The second truth most men refuse to accept is this: the moment you chase after rejection, you erase any remaining attraction that may have existed. Chasing feels logical in your mind. You believe clarity will help. You believe effort will change her perception. You believe showing consistency will prove your value. But attraction does not respond to logic. It responds to emotional positioning. And chasing puts you in the weakest position possible. When you chase after rejection, you communicate one thing clearly. You communicate that your emotional state depends on her decision. That dependency is felt immediately, even if nothing is said out loud. And once it is felt, respect drops. High-value men understand that attraction cannot survive neediness. Even subtle neediness changes how a woman perceives you. The tone of your messages feels heavier. Your presence feels closer. Your energy feels demanding instead of calm. That pressure pushes her away instinctively. This is why chasing explanations never works. Asking why does not reopen attraction. It closes it. Trying to stay emotionally connected after rejection does not feel mature. It feels invasive. And every additional attempt makes the rejection feel more justified in her mind. High-value men refuse to enter this cycle. They understand that once a woman has expressed disinterest, the most powerful move is not to persuade, but to exit cleanly. A clean exit preserves dignity. It protects emotional control. And most importantly, it leaves the interaction unresolved. An unresolved interaction lingers. When you chase, you resolve everything for her. You give her certainty. You give her closure. And certainty kills curiosity. Closure ends emotional movement. High-value men avoid closure. They do not block dramatically. They do not announce distance. They do not send final speeches. They simply redirect their energy elsewhere. This redirection is felt because the woman who expected pursuit suddenly feels absence, and absence forces reflection. Not always immediately, not always consciously, but over time, the contrast becomes noticeable. She remembers how calm you were. She remembers how easily you accepted rejection. She remembers how little you needed to convince her. That memory stands out. Most men chase and blend into the past. High-value men step back and become a question mark. And the human mind hates unanswered questions. This is why chasing after rejection erases attraction completely, while restraint quietly keeps it alive. Section 3. How emotional control turns rejection into curiosity. Rejection only becomes final when a man loses emotional control. As long as control remains, curiosity has room to grow. High-value men understand that emotions are contagious. The way you carry yourself after rejection sets the emotional tone of the memory. If your reaction is calm, grounded, and composed, the experience does not end in certainty. It ends in ambiguity, and ambiguity is powerful. Most men react emotionally without realizing it. Even when they try to appear calm, their words carry disappointment, tension, or urgency. That emotional leakage communicates attachment, and attachment without reciprocity always feels heavy. High-value men eliminate this entirely. They regulate their emotions first, before taking any external action. They accept rejection internally. They detach without resentment. And once detachment is genuine, their behavior changes naturally. This is where curiosity begins. A woman expects emotional reaction after rejection. She expects disappointment, frustration, or persuasion. When none of that appears, the mind pauses. It tries to understand why the reaction did not match the script. That pause is the seed of curiosity. Curiosity is not desire yet, but it is the doorway back to attention. And attention is the first step toward attraction. High-value men do not try to trigger curiosity deliberately. They simply live in a way that makes their emotional stability undeniable. They move forward, they focus on their purpose, they improve themselves quietly. And that quiet improvement creates contrast. Contrast is everything. The man she rejected fades or chases. The man who remains centered stands apart. Over time, that difference becomes noticeable. She starts to wonder what changed. She starts to reassess her initial judgment. She starts to replay the interaction, not because he forced it, but because he left space for her mind to work. This is why emotional control is the foundation of becoming unforgettable. It keeps the memory alive without effort. It allows attraction to reevaluate itself without pressure. High-value men know that the fastest way to kill curiosity is to demand attention. And the fastest way to create it is to remain unmoved by rejection. This does not guarantee she will return, but it guarantees something far more important. She will remember you as a man who did not break under dismissal. And that memory carries weight. Section 4. Why walking away cleanly is what makes you unforgettable. Most men believe walking away after rejection means losing. High-value men understand that walking away cleanly is often the only way to win long-term. A clean walk-away is not silence used as a tactic. It is silence that comes from resolution. When a man walks away without bitterness, without announcements, and without dramatic exits, he leaves behind something far more powerful than presence. He leaves contrast. High-value men do not disappear to be noticed. They disappear because their direction changes. Their focus shifts inward. Their energy moves toward growth, purpose, and self-respect. And that shift is felt, even from a distance. This is where most men fail. They either vanish abruptly with resentment or linger hoping to be remembered. Both behaviors communicate emotional instability. One shows anger. The other shows attachment. High-value men show neither. They walk away with calm certainty. They do not cut contact aggressively. They simply stop investing where investment is not returned. That decision alone changes the entire narrative. When a woman realizes that the man she rejected did not orbit her afterward, something clicks. She senses that he did not need her to move forward, and that realization challenges her assumptions. The man who walks away cleanly becomes hard to categorize. He is not angry. He is not desperate. He is not seeking validation. That absence of emotional noise makes him memorable. Memory thrives on contrast. When every other man reacts the same way to rejection, the one who does not becomes distinct. Distinction creates identity. Identity creates intrigue. High-value men understand that attraction cannot be forced, but it can be preserved. And preservation comes from dignity. Walking away cleanly preserves dignity. It tells her that rejection did not lower your standards. It tells her that your life did not shrink because of her decision. And it tells her that you are capable of loss without collapse. That ability is rare, and rarity creates value. This is why many women later think about the man who left calmly, even if they never admit it. His composure lingers. His silence echoes. His absence feels intentional. High-value men never chase after rejection. They allow space to do the work for them. And space, when paired with self-respect, has a way of rewriting perception over time. Section 5. How self-improvement. After rejection changes her perception without words. After rejection, most men improve for the wrong reason. They try to prove something. They want to show her what she missed. They hope she notices the changes and feels regret. High-value men move differently. They understand that real self-improvement is not a performance. It is a recalibration. It is the moment a man stops shaping his life around someone's approval and starts building a life that would attract respect regardless of who is watching. This shift is subtle, but powerful. When a man improves himself loudly, it feels reactive. When he improves quietly, it feels authentic. And authenticity is what alters perception long after rejection has happened. High-value men do not post for validation. They do not send updates. They do not seek acknowledgement. They simply evolve. They invest in their body, not to impress, but to feel grounded. They invest in their mission, not to escape pain, but to create direction. They invest in discipline, not to distract themselves, but to regain internal order. This internal order changes everything. Because a woman may reject a man based on who he was at a moment in time, but she reassesses him based on who he becomes afterward. And reassessment only happens when change is undeniable and unforced. This is where most men sabotage themselves. They try to signal improvement. They want her to see the gym progress, the success, the confidence. But signaling still seeks approval. And approval seeking keeps you in the past. High-value men let time do the signaling. Time reveals consistency. Time exposes growth. Time removes emotional charge. And when emotional charge is gone, perception becomes clearer. If she ever crosses paths with you again, whether intentionally or accidentally, the contrast is felt immediately. Your energy is different. Your presence is calmer. Your words carry weight. And that weight does not come from trying. It comes from alignment. High-value men know that the most powerful transformation after rejection is internal. External results follow naturally. And when they do, they feel effortless, not performative. This is why self-improvement after rejection works only when it is no longer about her. The moment your growth stops being a reaction, it becomes magnetic. She may notice, she may not. But either way, you win. Because the goal was never to be chosen again. The goal was to become a man who does not lose himself when he is not chosen. That man is rare, and rarity always reshapes memory. Section 6. Why silence after rejection is so powerful when it's real. Silence after rejection is misunderstood by most men. They think silence is a trick, a tactic, a way to make her miss them. And when silence is used with that intention, it always fails. High-value men understand something deeper. Silence only works when it is real. Real silence is not waiting. It is not hoping. It is not secretly checking for reactions. Real silence is the natural outcome of emotional resolution. It happens when a man has accepted rejection internally and redirected his life forward. That kind of silence feels different. It carries weight. Most men cannot hold this silence. They break it too early. They send a message just to check in. They react to a story. They create excuses to stay visible. And every time they do, they reset the dynamic back to weakness. High-value men do not do this. They understand that silence is not absence of interest. It is absence of need. And absence of need is one of the strongest signals of self-respect a man can project. When a woman rejects a man, she expects emotional residue. She expects disappointment, resentment, or lingering attachment. When none of that appears, her certainty begins to crack. Not because she misses him immediately, but because the story feels incomplete. The mind struggles with clean endings that lack emotional fallout. It replays moments. It revisits decisions. It questions assumptions. And in that questioning, curiosity can return. This is why silence after rejection works only when it is not used to manipulate. Manipulative silence feels heavy. It feels intentional. It feels forced. And women sense that instantly. Real silence feels calm. It feels like direction. It feels like a man who has moved on without bitterness. High-value men allow silence to stretch naturally. They do not measure days. They do not wait for a signal. They do not hold space emotionally for someone who chose not to be there. They close the chapter internally. And that internal closure is what creates external impact. Because when silence is real, it communicates finality without hostility. It says, I respect your decision, and I respect myself enough to move forward. That message is powerful. It positions the man as emotionally complete, not dependent. And emotional completeness is rare. Whether she ever reaches out again is secondary. What matters is that her memory of you is not polluted by neediness, pressure, or emotional collapse. High-value men protect that memory. They understand that sometimes the most attractive thing you can do is disappear peacefully from a situation that no longer aligns with your standards. And when silence comes from strength instead of strategy, it becomes unforgettable. Section 7. Becoming the man. She can't stop thinking about is a byproduct, not a goal. This is where everything comes together, and where most men misunderstand the entire process. Becoming the man she can't stop thinking about is never something you chase directly. The moment you try to occupy her mind intentionally, you place her at the center of your actions. And the moment she becomes the center, you lose the very thing that makes you unforgettable. High-value men understand this paradox. They do not try to stay in a woman's thoughts. They focus on staying aligned with themselves. And alignment is what lingers in memory. A woman does not keep thinking about a man because he tried harder. She thinks about him because he stood firm when it mattered, because he did not bend under rejection, because his reaction contradicted expectations. Memory is shaped by emotional contrast. The man who collapsed after rejection fades quickly. The man who argued his case becomes background noise. But the man who accepted rejection calmly, redirected his life, improved quietly, and disappeared without bitterness creates a psychological imprint. Not because he demanded space in her mind, but because he left space behind. High-value men never aim to haunt someone's thoughts. They aim to live in such a way that their absence feels intentional, not accidental. That intention is what gives their memory weight. This is why the transformation after rejection must be internal first. If your focus is still on how she perceives you, you are still tied to the rejection. If your focus shifts to who you are becoming, the rejection loses power over you. And when rejection loses power, attraction sometimes re-enters naturally. But even if it doesn't, you still win. Because the ultimate outcome is not her return. It is your elevation. High-value men do not measure success by whether a woman comes back. They measure it by whether they stayed true to their standards when tested. And that internal victory reshapes how they show up in every future interaction. They speak differently. They move differently. They choose differently. And women feel that difference immediately. This is what makes a man unforgettable. Not mystery, not tactics, not silence alone, but the quiet certainty of a man who knows he will be fine with or without validation. That certainty cannot be faked. It is earned. And once earned, it changes everything. She may think about you weeks later. She may wonder why you felt different. She may reassess what she dismissed, or she may not. But either way, you have become a man who does not lose himself at the first sign of rejection. And that man is rare. Rarity creates value. Value creates gravity. And gravity pulls attention naturally. This is why the man she can't stop thinking about is never the man who tried to be remembered. He is the man who chose to move forward with dignity. Rejection is not the moment you lose power. It is the moment your power is tested. Most men fail this test because they react emotionally. They chase clarity. They seek validation. They try to repair something that was never broken in the first place. And in doing so, they turn rejection into a permanent identity. High-value men do the opposite. They accept rejection without collapse. They do not argue with it. They do not personalize it. They allow it to exist without letting it define them. And that response alone separates them from the majority of men. Because the truth is simple. A woman does not remember the man who begged for another chance. She does not remember the man who explained himself. She does not remember the man who stayed emotionally available after being dismissed. She remembers the man who remained calm, the man who walked away cleanly, the man who redirected his life without resentment. That man becomes a question mark, and question marks stay alive in the mind. This is not about winning someone back. It is about winning yourself back. The moment you choose dignity over desperation, everything changes. Your posture shifts, your energy stabilizes, your presence becomes grounded, and grounded men are magnetic. Whether she ever reaches out again is not the point. The real victory is that rejection no longer controls you. You are no longer reacting from fear of loss. You are moving from purpose. High-value men understand that rejection handled correctly sharpens them. It exposes weak attachment, it forces emotional discipline, and it accelerates growth. Most men try to avoid rejection. High-value men use it. They allow it to strip away illusion and reveal who they really are. And once that clarity appears, attraction becomes a side effect, not a goal. If this video helped you see rejection differently, remember this. The man she can't stop thinking about is not the man who chased her approval. He is the man who chose himself when it mattered. And that choice changes everything. Remember, knowledge means nothing without action. If you're ready to rise above emotion and lead with purpose, join the community today at the link below. Enroll once, grow forever.